Every time I feel a little nervous, like starting to record, especially if I have to talk, it feels like I'm on the spot, even though I'm literally in control of what I put out, but it's still nerve-wracking for me. That's interesting. I've written down things that I want to talk about today, and it's mostly about social media, fast dopamine, and how we are basically not living to our full potential. I want to say that I'm not right now in a place in my life that I can share advice and be some kind of teacher or be some kind of guidance to others, but I definitely want to still talk and I want to give my opinion on stuff, and I think that a lot of people could relate, or if you don't relate, it's at least a new topic to talk about, a new topic to think about. I know a lot of people struggle with fast dopamine. I know a lot of people struggle with social media, and we've heard it all. At least I have. I think everybody has. I've heard it all. I've heard how to limit your screen time, how to make your life better, and all of that is true, but we still seem to not do it. A lot of us. I know I do. I would totally lie if I said that I went to sleep yesterday reading a book and completely calming my nervous system down, because that's just not the truth. I definitely was on TikTok last night before I went to sleep. Depends on the day. Sometimes I do read, but most of the nights I do fall asleep to TikTok. Not necessarily fall asleep, but that's the last thing I do before I go to sleep. So I remember when social media, especially for me, it was always YouTube. I used to love watching videos, especially like the OG YouTubers. I started watching YouTube when I was like maybe, I would say 10, maybe 9. It was just something for me to do or something for me to enjoy. I loved it so much. It used to be so fun, it used to be so simple, and it used to be so harmless. Now I have realized it has totally controlled my life, and it has totally controlled the way I think, the way I dress, everything, just basically everything. Not only I have lost the sense of myself throughout the years whilst being on social media and scrolling through 1,000 TikToks and going on Instagram and doing the same with Reels, but it has also impacted my dopamine levels. Not levels, I would say the way I get dopamine and the way I live and the way I continue to live. The reason why people love social media so much and love TikTok, it's because it's low effort. It's low effort, but it gives you high stimulation. And that's why it's so easy, and that's why we enjoy it so much, and that's why the loop keeps going on and on and on. So social media being so low effort and giving us such a dopamine hit obviously doesn't make us want to do something that is long term, right? Because the things that are long term are hard. They require effort. So is social media making our generation lazy? 100%. Because you need to give yourself grace. At least that's what I've learned. For the past 3 years, I've been like, Evelina, why can't you see yourself grow? Maybe in certain aspects, yes, I've matured. It's been 3 years. And 3 years ago, I was 17. Obviously, I've matured. I've gone through life experiences. Why you haven't educated yourself properly enough. You haven't reached the certain goals that you have in mind. And it's only because I was giving myself too much grace, to the point where I was like, it's too hard for you, it's fine, just don't do it today. I didn't develop a sense of discipline at all. And with the rise of social media, with the rise of TikTok, it made it 100% more harder. Because this dopamine that I used to get from simple life things changed into, let me scroll on TikTok for maybe 2 hours. Will that do? That's the fast dopamine. In the moments you feel nice, you feel secure, you feel comforted, you get off your phone and you feel like a piece of shit. And then the guilt comes in, and then you're like, I didn't do anything, I could have done so many things during these 2 hours, but I decided to rot on my couch and be on TikTok. The amount of damage we are doing to not only our brains but to ourselves is insane. It is insane. The amount of information we intake on a daily basis is insane. We all know that. What I realized is why the past 3 years have been so hard within me is because self-reflection was so limited. Seeing the shadow and seeing the bad parts in ourselves is what makes us grow, right? What I realized is that waking up, putting a YouTube video in the background whilst I'm getting ready, going to do whatever I have to do during the day, putting AirPods in my ears, listening to music, listening to a podcast, and then coming home, making dinner, or I don't know, just being home. I have something in the background. I have a Netflix show. I have, again, podcast, YouTube video. Go to sleep. And now I'm like, my brain is so quiet. It's so quiet. I can't take it. I'm going to put another YouTube video on, or I'm going to put another podcast in the background because it's just comforting. And then also in between the spaces you have during your day, let's say you're waiting in a line or you're waiting for that doctor's appointment, you're scrolling through TikTok or you're scrolling through Reels, again, constantly, all day, every day, non-stop. Your head is constantly stimulated. It's thinking about other things, and there's no time to reflect yourself. When are you going to find the time to ask deeper questions for yourself? When is the time to, I don't know, be present in the moment? When do you find the time to touch some grass? There's no time because you're not here. You're constantly somewhere else. Therefore, there is no growth. But then again, it's so hard to stop it because that fast dopamine is just so good and it's addicting. And it's so hard to just do your makeup in silence or make dinner in silence. You constantly need to have something in the background, right? Yeah. The constant identity crisis in this generation is insane. I feel like we always want to fit into a certain aesthetic and live a certain life. Doing that, we're limiting ourselves so much that is the reason why you feel lost. That is the reason why you can't find your style or you don't know what is your true aesthetic. It's getting dark and I can feel the lighting getting like really bad, but we're just gonna get through this video. I'm almost done. Sometimes style is not what you wear, but is what you embody. The reason why maybe, I don't know, let's take an example, Kate Moss. Her vibe, immaculate. She has been such an icon throughout the years. People are trying to recreate her style, but they can't because they're not Kate Moss. It wasn't the style that was so intriguing to people. It was who she was. It's the energy that she gave outwards. And the clothing was the least interesting thing about her. So, going through social media, grabbing all of these little things, grabbing the way you should dress, the way you should live, the vibes you should embody, it's just a big blur and it's taking your focus away on what truly matters, and that is to reflect and be yourself. And when you feel more comfortable with yourself, that is when you will develop your own aesthetic. But then again, can we really blame social media or can we blame ourselves? And we are the ones who control who we want to see and who we want to follow. Blaming it and putting the blame on social media itself, I think is kind of stupid. And that's literally what I did the whole video. This was a big This was me chatting and just word vomiting everything out. That is literally my mind these past few weeks. Plus whole other things, of course, but this is definitely what I want to work on, and not completely go off grid. No, that's not what I want to do. We have to keep up with our generation, and it's something that you can't escape, but you can control. So I want to start controlling it. I know I'm going to fail probably 100 times before I actually develop something that works for me. Maybe if you're having trouble with connecting to yourself on a deeper level, then put the phone down just a little bit. If you don't want to quit it like straight away, just control it a little and see the outcome, because maybe it's something worth sacrificing. It's definitely worth sacrificing. At the end of the day, our mothers were right, and it is the damn phone. Just put it down, go touch some grass, and go live life. I guess that's it. I got it off my chest.